Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's rugby view with myself, Aidan Raftery. And as always, from Craig's Rugby Club, we have Adrian Leddy. Hello, Adrian. How are you? Are you well?
Good afternoon, Aidan.
Lovely to have you on board again. Yeah, so plenty to talk about. I suppose, like we were saying last week, the season is winding down there for Craig's. There's only a few more kind of games left at underage level, and unfortunately, the two underage games that were on last weekend didn't go Craig's way. 15 points to 43 against Ballina in the under 13s, and the under 15s had a 12 point to 37 point loss against Buccaneers. We were just saying off air that it wasn't a true reflection of the game, though.
No, absolutely. Yeah, number one, it's great for any club that gets to a cup final in the sports ground, and for a lot of our lads, it was the first time that they would have played on an open pitch and on a 4G pitch the size of the sports ground. It's a very daunting place, even at senior level, to play for the first time. Never mind to expect a young lad at under 13 or under 15 to go out there in front of a big crowd in the stand and to perform. So I would say that the occasion got to our lads a bit in both finals, and not to say that we came out second best, but the scoreline was a lot closer than it would have shown. Like the two teams, it was evenly contested. Now the under 13s, it's a huge step up at under 13 level because they're playing on a smaller pitch, up on mini rugby and up to under 12s. So, they don't play a 15-a-side game until they come to another 13 side. So you have a double situation there, that you have a full scrum, full line outs, a whole big pitch to play on. So there's a lot for coaches and management to take in coaching an under 13 side to bring them up to that standard. So, again, maybe some of the 13 boys and some of the other clubs are playing at maybe at school level as well. So it would, and under 14 level. So it would help them considerably. But against that, we gave it everything. We were very proud of our players on the day. They looked very well, and they great turnout from the club and from all the parents, and they're at the match. And it was a beautiful day. The conditions were fine. In the first game, the under 13s went down to Ballina there against Ballina. Ballina was again a very well drilled side. Our lads would look to have the stronger pack, but unfortunately we tired a lot quicker than Ballina did. Ballina had a few very gifted footballers and were able to move the ball wide and got us caught out a few times on the wing. So that's how our under 30s went down. Then our under 15s, they came up against a very strong physical side in Buccaneers. They defeated them in the league. And now Buccaneers may have had a weaker team in the league than they had in the cup final, and they may not have known their team fully. That some of their players probably were tied up in schools. Now that the players came free to Buccaneers, that they were able to feel a lot stronger side last Sunday in the sports ground than they had in the league. So again, they were just a very physical, tough side, a very good side, and all hands to Buccaneers. They pulled it off, and they have done extremely well at youth level this year. So, looking forward, it is good to have two teams at that level in a final, and young players will learn from that, and our coaches and management will learn, and there's an experience for them as well as for the players. So, all in all, it was a good outing for the club.
That's it. And I suppose really two things there on that. I suppose From the point of view, first of all, of the under 13s, you were saying for them it's a big jump up, I suppose, size wise. So because of the pitch is a lot bigger for them when they go up to under 13 size, under 13 level, that means that there'll be a higher level of fitness required to cover it, and maybe it allowed them to be stretched then, and of course, with it being a final as well, I think you kind of learn more in the final from a final in a defeat or a win. Either way, a final is kind of different to a league game or any game leading up to a final. In that you tend to just learn that bit more in a final, don't you?
Very much, and you have to be ready and get into it from the start as well, and that's what I say is that that it's a learning curve for both players, management, and coaches in relation to it, and I have no doubt that they will go on from strength to strength from this experience, and they're very dedicated, both the players and coaches. They put a lot into it now this season, and we want to thank all the management coaches at youth level for the efforts that they have put in all season. It's a long season, and once you start in August up until the month of May, it's a lot of weekends gone out of your calendar involved with rugby, and I'm sure that a lot of the coaches after last weekend will be glad of the break.
That's it. And as regards the under 15s, I suppose that Buccaneers team that unfortunately defeated Craigs. Buccaneers did the double last year. I mean, they won the league final the Christmas before that, and then they won in the sports grounds. Then in the cup final, I was involved with them for that in the sports grounds. So I mean, I wonder would there have been many of that team, that under 14 side, in that under 15 side at the weekend?
I'd say a lot of lads have come through the system, yeah, like that's the way it works, Aidan. And they would have played a lot of rugby. You see, like, you have to realise that Buccaneers is a big senior club. They have a huge catchment area. There's a lot of, the population is a lot bigger with all the businesses and different people that come into business people that comes into Athlone, that they would have sons and daughters playing the game of rugby. They have a number of filter schools as well, so they have a lot bigger catchment than Craigs would have in relation to rugby. But like, at the same time, Craigs are competing at the Division 1 standard. So it's great that a small club, junior club like Craigs, can have two teams in a final at this age group.
That's it, because I mean, even though they were defeated, like as you said, the score didn't reflect the actual what went on the pitch. I mean, the quality of maybe Craig's performance. So from that point of view, these lads at under 13 and under 15, they have experience of playing at a good level with Craigs and things like that. So they didn't let themselves down. They put in a great performance. It was just kind of, I suppose, lady luck let them down on the day. But I suppose sometimes you learn more from defeat than victory.
Yeah, as an old saying is, you have to lose one to win one, so no, getting on from that, the Craigs on Saturday, they ran a pilot sevens competition in Craigs with a number of teams taking part at under 16 level between boys and girls. This is a great competition. It was great opportunity for young boys and girls to learn how to play the sevens game. The sevens game, as we know, is totally different to the 15-a-side, and you're covering a big pitch and a lot of ground. So and it's a case of making the space and covering the space. So it's when you're in defence. So it's a different game. So some of them players will go on to represent the club at Connacht level now as well over the next few weeks. So we wish all them players very well in the next couple of weeks.
That's it, and we'll move on as we always do to Buccaneers, and I suppose aside from that win, because we have that win covered, what else has been going on in Buccaneers Rugby Club?
Yeah, well, Buccaneers, you see, had that under 15, under 17s, and that added to a few other youth cups that they have lifted already this season. So, well done to them. They're doing very well at youth level. So, it shows that if they can hold on to some of these players, that there will be potential for further going into their senior club, and maybe a lot of them will play up the club in under 18s, under 20s, and so on as well. So that it's nice to have a feeders coming through like that there, and that they have it in place. Now the other thing is that they'll be looking for a head coach. Eddie O'Sullivan having stepped down, so they're in the process of putting that together to look for a head coach. They have their awards night coming up as well. So, there'll be plenty happening in Buccaneers themselves over the next couple of weeks. But as far as competitions is concerned, most clubs will have really finished up their program for the season.
That's it. And moving on to Carrick Rugby Club now.
Yeah, Carrick Rugby Club would have finished up in all things, but again, no more than what I was saying there. A lot of clubs will be planning now for their annual general meeting, getting in new officers, making sure that they have coaches for the coming season, making sure that other teams and structures are in place, and coaches for all the under youth games and so on. So they will be involved with Connacht no more than Craigs and Sligo and Buccaneers involved in giving it a try with mini rugby as well. So these type of things will be happening over the summer months, and there's always a touring side, or maybe a different type of game played too in some of these clubs over the summer months as well.
That's it. And finally, on this level, then we have Sligo Rugby Club.
Yeah, Sligo, have had a great season overall. They were runners up in the AIL. They went down narrowly only by 2 points in order to get promotion by UL Bows. So it just shows the work that's going in there in Sligo. And Sligo probably is a step ahead of most clubs, that they have agreed their coaching team for senior coaching team for the coming year. The same coaching team that they had there last year in Paddy Pearson, Jared Nocton, and Kieran O'Connor. The three of them will head up the coaching team again in Sligo for the coming season. So, if they hold that group of players together and with the same coaching team, I have no doubt that Sligo could go for promotion next season, because they also got into the Connacht Cup final against Buccaneers as well. So, overall they had an exceptionally good season.
That's it, and fair play to them. And that brings us on to Connacht next. And I suppose, what are your thoughts on their URC performance at the weekend?
Yeah, they head up now up to Belfast tonight. They play Ulster in the URC quarterfinals. So it's great for Connacht to be there, and they're more or less guaranteed now that with the way the results went last week in the Challenge Cup game, that they're guaranteed the Champions Cup to get into the senior competition for next year. So that's a great boost for the team. It was the aim at the beginning of the season was to qualify for the European Cup competition again. So that's another thing achieved by the province, and now to be back into the playoffs and having drawn Ulster after losing out narrowly to Glasgow. And maybe it was a blessing in disguise that they did lose out to Glasgow, because if they had won that game, they would be in South Africa this week, away to the Stormers in Cape Town. So at least it's an easier and shorter run up to Ulster. And buses there, a lot of kind of supporters are travelling today and up to Belfast, and a lot of the great support there for the team. So the team looks good. Our 4 internationals are back in the team. Bundyaki, Mark Hansen, Finlay Beelan, and Dave Heffernan. So it's great to have the 4 of them back in the team. And for Rosfm listeners and that there too, we have our own Dennis Buckley, Niall Murray, and Jack Carty on the team as well. So there's a lot of interest locally, and a fair build up for this game. And we're all looking forward to this game now this evening.
That's it. It'll be an exciting time at the moment. Preparing for this game. I suppose a lot of pressure in one sense, but I suppose the glory is there if they manage to win it, and they do well, which they have the players to do that.
Well, it's as good a team. It's as good a team as Andy Friend and his coaching staff could put out this weekend. Must be there. You can see that most players are back from injuries. There are probably maybe a few more that would have made the squad on the subs bench, that would have strengthened our subs bench for tonight if they were free of injury. But there's a few that's on long-term injuries that won't be available now until next season. So it would be great if they were able to extend the season by getting a win over Ulster. Now going to Belfast is never easy when you're in Kingspan Stadium there in Ravenhill. It's not easy. So they will be up against it, because Ulster will want this win badly as well. That they need it. They have been knocked out of all the other competitions, so this is the only competition that they have to get a bit of silverware for them for this season. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then tomorrow, Saturday, we play away to Portlaoise with the Connacht Juniors. We lost out last weekend to Munster in Tuam. A great day, a great game, a very close game. We went into a 17-point lead and lost out in the end up. Now there was wind and hill advantage which played a part in the game. But I would have felt that we went to sleep a bit, the Connacht lads, and we allowed Munster back into the game. And once we lost our foothold in the game, the Munster got their confidence back and went at us again. So it's just great experience for the Craigs lads that played in the team. And we look forward now to playing Leinster in Portlaoise at 2:30 tomorrow. So let's hope that we can get something out of it, and to be a great showdown then for the final day the following week out in Clifton against Ulster.
And I suppose looking at it as well, what were your thoughts on the performance of the Craigs contingent for Connacht?
Yes, they all played well, and it's good to see it. Good to see them there being involved. Unfortunately, that more of them wasn't involved because they weren't able to give it the commitment. Quite a number of the Craigs lads are young people in college. They're coming up to college exams and can't make their and in Dublin and different places. they can't make it home midweek for training, so they had to opt out of the training regime, and therefore they weren't selected for the team. But again, it's great. It's great for everybody to put on a Connacht jersey. It's for any junior player to get this opportunity to be playing for Connacht and to be involved in the Inter-Pro series.
And I suppose finally moving on to the Women's Six Nations, the final league game was the final Six Nations game for Ireland was last week against Scotland. Unfortunately, came away empty-handed.
Yeah. Again, they played well in the first half, held out Scotland well, but then they lost their way very much in the second half. And all we can hope is that they will learn a lot from this experience. But a lot of work has to go into this team because, as I said on this program on a number of occasions, all the other teams were way ahead in their work than the Irish girls, because they were all involved in the World Cup, which Ireland lost out on. So this isn't going to help Irish rugby, having lost all their games in the Six Nations, but they're going to have to regroup now, and we're not sure yet what the management team and coaching team will be going forward with them. There's various rumours about that the coaching team are stepping back and stepping down. That hasn't been confirmed one way or the other yet. It's speculation at this stage. So we just have to watch that space in the next couple of days to see exactly what happens on this. There's negotiations going on between the IRFU and the coaching team as we speak. So we can, hopefully that with looking at the team and looking at other players that didn't get into the squad this time round, that's playing their rugby in England, that you would like to think that maybe some of the players that are playing in the Premiership in England could be brought back into the squad. And it's always a disadvantage when the Sevens tournament is on at the same time. I know it's probably coming to the stage now that both the Sevens and the 15s will have to stand on their own and work that way, because it doesn't really work the other way either. Like having players 1 week playing for the Sevens and another week playing for the 15s and be in and out. That's no good for a team either. So they have to probably what was done this year was probably the best, even though that it affected the Irish squad badly, because we don't have a big squad of women's rugby players at international level.
That's it, because I suppose really, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it kind of seems that for the Irish ladies team, and they are trying and they're doing a great job, both the players and the management. But over the last couple of seasons, is it fair to say that maybe the squad are maybe too dependent on the sevens players, and maybe that's kind of that they're going in and out, they're going from under 50s to the 15 aside to the 7 aside kind of thing, kind of affects the performances of the sevens players.
Yeah, it's a combination of a good few things, Aidan. It's not alone confined to that. It's confined. The biggest issue was the number of senior players when we didn't qualify for the World Cup, that they decided to step away from it and retire. And I think that has really hit the team very hard. And if that there are a lot of the players that you had playing this season had very few caps. So that's you're starting from scratch, and it's great. It would have been great if some of them had held on and have more experience within the team. But you have to start somewhere, Aidan, and we hope that they can build from this experience.
That's it, and we know in fairness to the players and the management, they give it their all when when they don that Irish jersey as well, and that they're very committed to the jersey in every single match. So we'd like to thank them for all the hard work they put in, and hopefully maybe next season might prove to be a bit different. I know it's a kind of a long-term project, but I suppose, if you see kind of progression each year, it's the main thing. So listen, thanks very much, Adrian, for taking time out to do rugby view with me, and we look forward to doing it again next week.
Okay, thank you very much, Aidan.
No problem, thanks very much. And that was Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club.